But I would like to start by welcoming Luís Cavaco onto Stockport County Live. Luís, a very good evening to you.
Right. Very good evening to you too, and we were surprised, for you to, to want to talk to me, after all this is 20 and more years.
Well, Luís, I remember seeing clips of you when you left the club, and I remember hearing people say you won't be forgotten by the county faithful, and I can assure you that you haven't. It wasn't the longest spell with county, was it? But it was quite a memorable one.
Yeah, and I'm how can I say? It's like I'm regret that I should stay more years in this soccer, and I'm sorry. Well, I forgot. I don't know the word, but I should stay, for more years in Stockport. Yeah. I shouldn't come to Portugal in that year. So,
well,
I regret.
Well, I'd be interested to hear more from that. We're obviously going to go down a trip down memory lane through the course of the next half hour or so. But I want to start by talking about something we've just been having a quick chat about off air. It's strange times globally at the moment, isn't it, with Corona and everything else? What's the situation where you are? Are you keeping okay?
Yeah. My family is okay, and I'm okay. I didn't stop work. I'm working now in a hotel, and then the reception of the hotel. We never stopped working. It was always open, and then it's near Lisbon. Well, we have to take take care and follow all the rules that the NHS wants. But we have to be careful, with all those.
Yeah.
About this thing of the virus, but well, it's a thing that it's going to be always bad until they got a vaccine, So until they got a vaccine, it's going to be a problem.
That's a long road back, isn't it? Speaking of long roads back, I want to cast your mind back, if you would, to the beginning of your football career and how you became to be the Portuguese sensation that Stockport County fans maybe weren't expecting coming down the pipe, but were absolutely amazed by. Take us back to pre-Stockport County days, and just talk to us a little bit about how the local football scene was where you grew up and what made you fall in love with the game.
Well, it's like when we start playing football, you never know what you came for, where you're gonna get, So it was. I am all my parents. They always approve and support, for me to keep going with the football, studying in football. First studying, then football. Until I get 18 or 19, After that, I choose. I had the chance to go to professional, and I choose football. And from there, it's you getting the chances and grab the chance that you have. So the quality and the fitness and it came with the games and the training session and what you learn. So when you start playing football, you never know what you will be and where you can get. So
well, I've been doing my homework, doing a bit of research, and I can see that you started out at a club called it's your hometown, wasn't it, Almada? But then you moved on a little bit, moved around, and it was Casa Pia that really where you picked up, and that was where you started making a name for yourself in the game.
Before that, I was in a club that they already finished. It was a Estrela Amadora in the first league. Then I'm on loan to Casa Pia. They were in the first league, but I had an injury, and then I went on loan to Casa Pia, and I played there for 1.5 years, so one season and a half, and then from there I went to Estoril. That was before Stockport. So in Casa Pia, the things they start to get better, and they in Portugal they start to know me. But it was in Estoril that was the club. Well, before Stockport, it was more important for me.
So what was your career at Estoril like then? I guess because that's obviously where I want to end up. I want to start speaking about how Stockport County first heard about you, how those conversations happened. But before we can get to that, I guess we have to look about what your performances were like there. You had a good relationship, I'm reading, with players on the pitch, players like Pauletto who moved forward in their career, and Luís Cavaco, it seems, was quite an important player in that team.
Yeah, I think so. It's I think that the manager, the manager likes me. That I always try to do what they want. So that's a thing that was good for me for the managers. If they ask me for do a thing, I did well. I tried to do perfectly. That what they asked me in Estoril, and I was a player for the team, not individual player. I always play for the team, and I think they think is the individual comes after. So the thing is that's why they are. I always not in England it's different, but in Portugal, in that time you always play for 30 games or 34 games, and maybe a couple more if you go on the cup, if you go going far on the cup. In England it's different because you have 60 games or 70 games, and the players they are always moving and playing. We play a game and then you could be in the bench on the other game.
Yeah.
So the thing is, here it's more difficult to be on the first team. That because you play less than in England.
How did it must have been quite a bizarre message for you to receive, or I don't know, maybe just talk us through a little bit of how it came about. How did you first hear that Stockport County were looking at you?
After Estoril, I had a contract signed with Belenenses, the first league team. Then I went on my honeymoon. I married and I went on to my honeymoon. And when I came from my honeymoon, my manager was on the airport waiting for me, and he said that Belenenses changed the manager. They changed the how do you call them? The president, I forgot the name of the club.
The chairman, the owner, yeah.
The chairman of the club, yeah. And they didn't want me anymore. So and I was without club, because in Portugal in that time, do you remember the Lei Bosman?
Yeah,
When
good.
they start, yeah, in that year they wasn't the Lei Bosman wasn't in Portugal. So if I went to move to a Portuguese club, they have to pay to Estoril a fee, a fee transfer. So, and Belenenses they haven't money in that time to pay. It was me and Pauleta who we both moved at the contract to Belenenses in that time, in that year. So when I came from my honeymoon, I was without club. So that's why when Stockport they came to Portugal for a 52-week or three-week days for a pre-season. That's why when I spoke the first time to David Jones, because they want a winger, they want to He was in the game. They played for Belenenses, a friendly game, and I watched that game. And then we spoke after the game. And well, they want a winger, and I wasn't a winger. I was a striker here in Portugal, you know. But they think that I was too small to be a striker, so they they want a winger, and then they asked me if I want to come on trial for 10 days to Stockport to play a winger. And I said yes, yeah, I'll go, no problem. And
what was your first? What was your first impression of Dave Jones? What did you make of Dave when you first started speaking to him? Because he's a legendary manager in Stockport County's history.
Yeah, I know. We are talking of the year of '96. Well, it was a long time ago. So, so the TV in Portugal was in black and white. You know, it still melts black and white. So. The thing is, we don't know. We didn't have too many information about the leagues, the lower leagues in England. You know, we know about the Premier League, but maybe the second league or the Premier, the Championship. Yes, I think it was the Championship, and in that time that they called the second division.
Yeah.
In England.
That's right, yeah.
So I never heard from Stockport, and I never heard from David John, sincerely. You know, the thing is that England, we are always impressed with the football in England. First league, second league, third league. England is England, and if they open the door, you know, for you to go, if they give you a chance to go to England to play, you can refuse. Even in the lower divisions, because if you go into a lower division, if you do well, you have a chance to go to the Premier League or to better clubs.
So when
I didn't think too much. I just said yes when they asked me. So
there must have been a real sense of excitement around for you. Then there must have been a real buzz to think that perhaps this is your opportunity, your big move, and the chance to play in big stadiums and in front of big crowds in England.
Yeah, just in Estoril, we were in the second league in Portugal. In Estoril, in Portugal, you only still now you only got two professional divisions: the first league and the second league. The other divisions they're not they are semi-pro professional. At that time, you maybe 1,000 supporters in Estoril in the second league team, maybe, or 1,500 assisting to the game. Then you go to Stockport, to a third division club, and you got 10,000 people watching, or 11,000 people watching.
How was that? How was that walking out in front of Edgeley Park crowds for the first time and just seeing the wall of blue and white? How did that feel for you?
It was. Look, I'm having goosebumps. You know. It is. It's like you're watching a game, the Premier League game. You know, on the TV back in Portugal in that time. You know, it was. You know, I feel like I was in a big stadium with 60, 50 or 1,500 people. You know, it was the same for me. You know.
And I mean, you cast your mind back to those times. I mean, if we look at football in its current state as it exists these days, I mean, players move different countries all the time. It's not, you know, we expect this summer there will be plenty of moves from Portugal to England, Spain, Germany, France, players moving all around. But when you moved to England, that wasn't really. It was quite a new thing, having players come from abroad, especially at Stockport County's level. I remember being a fan of the club as a young boy and being told that we've signed a Portuguese winger, and this was a big deal. What did it feel like for you coming to a different town in a world that was, like you know, quite openly admit you didn't really know Stockport or Stockport County, and you are you are the winger that's come in from overseas, the flair player. You know, I guess there must have been a level of expectation on your shoulders.
Well, I didn't know, like you said. I remember that they in the Premier League they can play the foreign players. They must be international to play in the Premier League at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there wasn't maybe a few Portuguese players or foreign players playing in England in that time. I don't remember too many Portuguese players playing in England in that time.
No.
It's like well, it was very difficult for me, very difficult, to adapt to the English football. So because it's very different from the Portuguese football that I was used to, and I didn't know the expectations that the fans and the club want from me. I think it was for Stockport was like for me it was a new experience. Let's see what he can give us, or what, because they never heard from me. They saw me in 2 games. They saw me just in a few training sessions. So let's see what can Luís get us or give us. So and I wasn't too in that time wasn't too many expensive. So so it wasn't a bad investment from for sure.
When you look back at those games that you played with County, it's fair to say it wasn't the hundreds of appearances that made you so well remembered by the County fans. It was the fact that you brought something a little bit different to the table. You were trickier. You could get a ball into the box. You could score a goal, and you played a big part in creating those memories that County fans look back on so fondly. I mean, goals against big Premier League clubs were on your watch. There was goals against smaller clubs like Peterborough, but they just had a sense of wizardry about them. The fact that you could drop of a shoulder, leave 2 defenders going one way when you went the other. You were really well remembered by County. What memories do you have from getting out there and playing?
Well, I still got the videos too from that game. Now you can find everything on YouTube. But for me, I learned a lot in English. They have a completely different mentality. They live football different from here. So they live for football. The fans and the players and the people that are involved in the club, they live for the game. They live for the coming Tuesdays and Saturdays for the game. So and I learned a lot with the English, with the people, the people from Stockport and the people from the club. And I was saying that it was very difficult to adapt, because I only started playing regularly in, I think it's November.
Yeah.
Around November, because I have to change. Not Stockport have to change. I have to change because I'm going to a foreign club, and I have to adapt to the club, to the players, and the way they play.
What?
So. No, I was saying, so I have to be more aggressive. I have to never give up the game, never give up the play when we were playing, and fight for every ball. That's the difference from here in Portugal.
What memories do you have of the players that you played with? What relationships did you make? Were there any friends that you made within the camp at County? Any of the players that you kind of stuck with, sat next to on the coach to away games?
Well, I remember when we came back with all the beers, in the
Those things never change.
Never change. It's a thing that it's impossible here. It's impossible. it's impossible to the manager buy a beers in for the players to drink after the game. It never happened here. It's impossible. It happened there. So, and well, I think I remember all the players. I remember all the players. I think I've made friendship with all the players. I still have contact with some, and with the Facebook, and all these things. Um, uh, my well, my roommate was Jim, the manager now, was my roommate. They said they said to Jim, hey, you keep you stay with the Portuguese there.
How was he? How was he as a roommate? Was he okay?
No, in that time he was already a manager. No,
Yeah.
the instructions, they do this, do that, So no.
So it doesn't. So it doesn't. I guess it doesn't surprise you then that he's gone on to be a manager and a successful one at that.
No, because they already have the they have the ambition to be to be involved and to be manager. I think he's doing well.
There's a few goals that I could pick up with you, Luís, but there is one, and this is not. I'm guessing you could probably predict that I was going to bring this up. There's one goal in particular that I have to ask you: is it one that will just live in your memory forever and ever and ever? At that goal against West Ham, when Julian Dix has the ball. Now, Julian Dix is a player that is well known in this country. Stellar career at the top level. Yet you've pinched the ball off him and just gone on one of your runs. We only saw it, I think, 40 times for County, but it was almost like a trademark Luís Cavaco, jinx this way, that way, and just slots it into the bottom corner in such. I mean, the game itself is in County archives as one of possibly the most legendary cup tie ever, and the fact that it was you that went and pinched the ball, scored the goal, great finish. I've got to ask you, is that one that whenever you go to bed at night and you can't sleep or whatever, do you just replay it in your memory and just think back? Because that's why kids want to be footballers, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I show all that video to my kids, to my nephews, to my, I show to everybody, my friends, and they ask me, "Oh, that's you? Yeah, that's me." Yeah. It was very well. It was I think it was the second goal. The first goal was Brad. The second goal, and I thought it was I think it was after Brentford the game, and I think in that game I was start playing in the game because I scored the goal and then when I went to the bench I was a little bit frustrated
Yeah.
in that game, yeah, but and then I think it's on Jeffers. They came out. They had an injury, and then John asked me, "Do you want to play on the left side?" Yeah, of course I will play on the left side because I'm the athlete. I play everywhere. So it's when you talk with them, when we say the important players that we played that time, and Julian Dix, because I didn't make difference for the players. If I played against the clubs of our league or the Premier League, if I played against Julian Dix or I know the Hadichoyu or was the center back that I passed. I don't remember. He was from Croatia. He's the manager of Croatia. I don't remember now the name.
Slavan Bilic.
Bilic, yeah. So for me it's equal. It's the same. If I played against our clubs, our league clubs, or the Premier clubs, I played the same. Because like I said to you, there wasn't more information, about the lower divisions in Portugal. They we just some clubs or players in the Premier League in that time. So and the game was important for me because it was a Premier League game and everybody wants to play in the Premier League against the Premier team.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have the chance to do that, because there's television, there are 30,000 people watching, there was agents, managers from everywhere. So our supporters, they were amazing in that night. My wife was watching the game, so I had some friends watching the game too, and it's like what can you ask more? From it was perfect. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
I mean, it's something that you obviously look back on so fondly, as the county army do when they look back to that time. And I want to just kind of bring in what you said at the beginning of the show, when you said it was you really regret moving on. Just talk to us a little bit about how the move came about, because obviously you were recovering from a really bad injury, and just talk to us about what happened when you left county, because you went to Boavista. That's a big move, isn't it? I mean, that's in itself a move that you can't really turn down.
Yeah, because but when I came to Portugal, I didn't. Boavista came after. I came to Portugal without club. I didn't
Okay.
have club yet. Yeah. So the thing that I left Stockport. But I had the injury. I had 6 months or 7 months without playing. The manager wasn't the same as David Jones. I didn't. Well, I'm not saying I didn't like Gary Maxon, but he wasn't the best manager for me.
Okay.
So.
It's a fair comment.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, I finished the season playing and playing some games, but it wasn't a good experience. The second season wasn't a good experience, for me, with all the moves, all the the thing that changed, all the changes that in the club, like the manager, the manager, not the people, but the managers. Was in the second. It wasn't a good experience for me. That's why I decided to come to Portugal.
What was the difference? What was the difference in style between Dave Jones and Gary Maxon?
So, I can say that because it was a long time ago and I'm in Portugal, so no one. Well, David Jones was human. He was a human. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was friendly. He was friend of the players. He never. You always respect me, as a player, as a person. He has a foreign. Yeah, I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah,
As a player, as a foreign player, and with Maxon it wasn't the same.
Okay,
it was different.
No, that's fair.
Completely different from. You can compare David Jones with Gary Maxon.
That's fair comment. We'll move on from that. What I want to finish up by saying, Louis, is you mentioned it when you touched on the West Ham game, but you think back to some of those unbelievable nights. Southampton, you've scored a header against Premier League opposition. There's the goal against West Ham. There's goals against Brentford, goals against Peterborough that really stand out. But one thing that you touched on was the experience of the fans stepping out Edgeley Park, your wife sitting in the fans and just hearing that massive noise every home game, every away game. What was your lasting impression of the Stockport County fans?
Well, when you come back to Stockport, I think that was maybe 3 years ago. I've been there. 3 or 4 years ago, I've been there. When you come back to Stockport, and they still know you, they still remember you, they still support you, they still shout your name. It's unbelievable. So, and then sometimes we are changing, messenger on Messenger or Facebook and comments, and they still remember me. Maybe, well, the kids, the younger people still remember. It's like I was saying before that you are a supporter too. You live for the game. You always you are waiting that the game on Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday came to go and watch the game and support your team, support your players, and you go to the ground, to the games to support. You're not going to say bad words or I don't know if you understand me. And if you are winning, if you are losing, you're always supporting the players in the team. Yeah. So it's a passion, for you. The football, it's a passion. It's a passion, and I learned that from you, and I start seeing and thinking and watching football different since I came from England. I came from Stockport.
Well, Louis, you are absolutely right in saying that you are always remembered when you come back on Edgeley, and you will be for a long, long time yet. Will we get to see you sometime again in the future come to a Stockport County game?
I want to. I want to. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to. Well, the things now, this season, it's what everybody knows. So we hope that the season starts well in August or September. That everything starts well next season, and then I will do everything to go and watch a game against Stockport because I've got friends there. I've got friends in the Stockport. I'm always in contact with a special. I've got a special friends there that my friends from where I heard from Stockport. I'll be in contact with them, and every summer I meet them here in Aldar. Because it's when I want I can go to Stockport, and it's a thing that I just when I want, when I got the chance, I'll go to there and be with you again and drink some pints, go to the finger post, and and that's about it. I like to. It's a thing.
Well, Louis, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We had, it's no surprise, I don't think it's no secret, we had a few tech issues at the start, but I'm really, really happy that we had you on the show tonight.
Okay, and I'm happy, for you to contact me and want to do this with me. So I'm special again, for you.